Welcome back to ABC 7 Extra Sunday. I'm Mark Ross. Tonight our topic, preventing another red flower beetle infestation in Socorro and other parts of El Paso County. My guest, Socorro Mayor Rudy Cruz Jr., Jonathan Consford, Integrated Pest Management Program Specialist with Texas A&M AgriLife, El Paso County Commissioner, District 3, Ileana Holguin, and Patrick Porter, Extension Entomologist with Texas A&M AgriLife. Commissioner Holguin, your precinct includes Socorro, Clint, Fabens, San Eli, Horizon, and Tornillo, but you've also invited pecan tree owners in the Upper Valley to Vinton to bring their pecan shells to this drop-off. Have you had conversations with Precinct 4 Commissioner Sergio Coronado about the red flower beetle concerns?
This was a discussion that we had on the Commissioner's Court last year when the infestation was happening in Socorro. And all of the commissioners and our county judge agreed from the onset that it was very important for the county to become involved, to try to get rid of the infestation that was happening at that moment, but then also to do whatever we could to prevent future infestations. So I'm very proud of the actions that the county took last year when we were in the midst of the infestation. The county set aside funding to purchase pesticides for residents, pesticides that would be safe to use in residences' homes, as we were trying to remove all of the shells from the El Paso water property down in the Socorro area. So the county, we took those immediate steps to set aside funding for the pesticide. We also set aside funding for other pecan-related pests that we wanted to monitor as well. We set aside funding to do testing for weevil, for example. And then, of course, when we submitted the grant to the Department of Agriculture, that was something that we all decided, all of us on the court decided was absolutely important so that we can avoid this infestation again in the future, not just in Socorro or in the communities in my precinct, but across El Paso County.
Now, Mayor Cruz, I recall when you were on last year, you were a city councilor. Now, of course, you're mayor. You led the charge to help bring the infestation under control. How does that experience help you work to keep another infestation from happening?
So I may have led the charge, but I didn't make it happen. And again, I really need to let the community know that this is a collaborative effort between the county and surrounding leaders, because we know how it affected our community, and the last thing we want to see is for it to happen again. But I want to say that we look forward to working, continuously with the leaders, and we're going to keep in close contact with Texas Ag right now. But we don't want to see the infestation that we saw last year. Definitely, we're not going to do that. But again, I'm happy with the steps that this council has taken, and I know some folks may become upset because of them having to remove the pecan shells from their residences or their properties. But at the end of the day, we got to make decisions that are right for the community, the greater good of the community.
Better to get rid of the shells now than to have to go out and get more insecticide and constantly sweep up the beetles.
Yeah, and again, in a perfect world, we'd love to go out there and spray the homes of the affected residents, but we can't. Unfortunately, that's against our rules, our ordinances, and actually law. What I do for one home, I have to do for every single home in the city of Socorro, and quite frankly, we don't have the budget to do that. So we're going to focus on the affected areas as best as we can, using the resources that have become available to us without having to dig into the taxpayers' pockets to do it.
Now, Patrick, you have a lot of territory to watch as an extension entomologist, and since Socorro is doing this pecan shell drop-off program, are you encouraging other cities and towns in your coverage area to do the same?
No, and that's because we don't have point sources of products generating the problem right now. We have in the past, and we need our ag commodities. We have dairies up here, a lot of them, that we feed a lot of these products to the dairy cattle. And so we don't really want to affect that unless we have to. And as far as the drop-off, I will mention that pecan shells do have benefit for dust control and other things, and there will be a safe depth they can be applied withoat generating these infestations. It's just we haven't done the research to figure out whether that's 2 inches or 3 inches or whatever. So I think we could do those studies. But up here, we don't worry about it. We just deal with it when they blow up. And is that the best way? No, but it's the most practical way.
All right. Jonathan, what advice do you have for any pecan tree owner, whether they're in Socorro or somewhere else in El Paso County? What are the things they need to do besides getting up the shells?
Here in El Paso, we've started processing more pecans from other areas. So we do have a large amount of shells to deal with. So take advantage of Socorro's program for now, but we need to get out there and do that research to see how thick of a layer of this mulch would prevent that infestation.
But you also would like homeowners to take some precautionary steps as well, right?
Right, yeah. The homeowners can seal up the cracks with caulk, use weather stripping on doors, fine mesh screen on any access points, and they can also use a pyrethroid insecticide barrier applied by a licensed professional.
Yeah, this is not something that they could just go to Home Depot and buy, right?
Well, they can in some instances, but always follow the label. The label is the law.
Okay. All right, one more time. Here is the information on the pecan shell drop-off program, which is a partnership of El Paso County and the city of Socorro. The program continues through the end of April. It's not just for pecan tree owners in Socorro. This includes Clint, Fabens, San Elizario, Horizon, Tornillo, and Vinton. Bring your pecan shells to the collection site at 241 Old Waco Tanks Road in Socorro. The site is open Mondays from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I want to thank all of our guests very much for coming on the show tonight. And thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Ross. Stay safe, stay strong. I'll see you next Sunday night.